Are you feeling exhausted just thinking about that to-do list? Are you overwhelmed at work and don't know where to start? Because you know tackling it all means that you'll probably burn out. Then you won't want to miss episode 52 of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. Come back and join me as I share the ultimate secrets of how to prioritize your tasks like a pro, but without the burnout.
Are you a strong, independent woman who's passionate about her career? Then this podcast is perfect for you. Based on her book, The Career Woman's Secret Playbook, career coach Dr. Dawn Hamby shares the kind of insider secrets you can only know if you've hired, fired, and promoted employees over the past 30 years.
Ladies, I'm on a mission to help busy women just like you create a career and life you love without sacrificing your work-life balance to get it. Come join me as we inspire and motivate each other only as women can and have lots of fun along the way.
With Dr. Dawn's tools, strategies, and action steps, you can unleash your personal and professional power in a whole new way. Here's today's episode.
Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the Career Woman's Secret Playbook podcast. I'm so excited you're here. I'm your host, Dr. Dawn. And if you're joining us for the first time, these are the kind of topics that we love to tackle right here on the podcast. Why? Because as a career coach and consultant, I can tell you topics like this are so important. I want our listeners to be able to benefit from what I've seen firsthand, not just happen to my staff, but also to clients of mine. In fact, burnout is such a serious issue, you guys. I'm going to definitely be sharing some statistics with you of how this really is affecting people in bigger numbers than they realize. But I'm also going to show you some telltale signs of what to look for, because if you're experiencing some of this, it's very possible that if you're not burnt out yet, you are on your way. And we definitely don't want that. Now, I'm very passionate about making sure that anybody who listens to our podcast not only is better informed about topics like this, but I want to make sure you have the strategies and tools you need to actually do something about it, right? That's what I personally love about podcasts. I want to learn about a topic, but then if it's something that could be affecting my professional and personal life, then yes, I definitely want to know what to do about it. So we're going to be talking about all of that and so much more. Now, also, if you're new here, you may not know that I'm the CEO and founder of Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. We are a business consulting company and we tackle topics like this all the time for our clients. We offer workshops and seminars, one-on-one coaching. So if you think we could be of help in any way, be sure to reach out to us on our website at drdawnshoptalk.com. And I also want you to go there because I've got some freebies for you as a thank you for listening to our podcast. So if you head over to the website, you can download some awesome free resources to help you on your career journey. Right, ladies? We need to stick together to make sure that we have everything we need to not only feel successful in our professional lives, but also our personal lives as well. So I'm convinced this podcast can help you do that. At least I hope so, ladies. And if you like content like this, we are always looking to grow our platform. You can be such an important part of our journey. If you give us a 5-star review, by the way, and leave us a sentence or two, I will give you an on-air shout out. If that's your jam, some people don't want any kind of attention like that. So if it would embarrass you, you let me know. But we definitely want to be able to get our message out to more amazing professionals. So if you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review, and if you have just an extra minute or two, a sentence or two would definitely help us out tremendously in making sure that this content gets recommended to more folks who could definitely use it. So thank you guys so much. We have the most supportive community. And if you're a new newbie, I want to welcome you here. We're so glad that you found us. And again, get plugged in with those resources I mentioned on our website. We also have a YouTube channel. In fact, every time I record a podcast episode, I am uploading a video version of that. So the podcast is usually released on Mondays. I want to make sure you're having a terrific start to your week. And I think topics like this can help you do just that. I try to go ahead and release the video version of that on Tuesdays. So you can check us out wherever you listen on the podcast. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we would love it if you would give us a thumbs up. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe on both the podcast platform and also on YouTube. Now, speaking of both, I want you to know that in the show notes on the podcast, you can find the links to everything that I mentioned on this video. So whenever I record a podcast episode, if there are links to things I think could help, I'm going to include that in the show notes. So be sure to check that out. And on YouTube, it's going to be in the description box. So just click on more to find out more. All right, you guys, let's get to it. Let's get to today's episode, all about how to prioritize your tasks without the burnout. So let's start by defining what we mean by burnout. By definition, we're talking about that mental and oftentimes that physical exhaustion from doing way too much, not delegating, not saying no, right? No is a complete sentence. We'll get to more details about that in a minute. But basically, it's that physical and mental exhaustion from spreading yourself too thin. And it's really what leads a lot of folks to leave their job. And so you have to take good care of yourself. You have to advocate for yourself. But before you can even do that, let me go through some warning signs to make sure you're not vulnerable to burnout right now. And in fact, guys, there's so much research about this. I'm going to give you 12 signs that you're unfortunately on your way to burnout. So let's make sure we tackle those. Number one, chronic fatigue. Do you feel tired all the time? In other words, it's not situational, it's all the time. Number two, insomnia. Definitely that could be a reason why you're tired all the time. But if you can't get a good night's sleep or you're waking up at all hours, again, it just may be that your mind is racing because, again, you're doing too much and you can't relax and get that good night's sleep that could affect so much about your workday and even your personal health. Number three, forgetfulness or a lack of concentration. Now, unless you're in your late 50s, like yours truly here, that could possibly be a sign of something else, right? If you're in menopause. But if you're not in menopause, it's definitely going to be related to that burnout, mostly because of that lack of sleep. Number four, increased illness. Because guess what? If you're burning out, you've got stress, you're not getting sleep, you're going to be more vulnerable to getting sick. So again, that's something to look out for. Number five, a change in your appetite. You're either eating too little or you're overeating. It's just a way to cope, isn't it? So again, if you're experiencing that, you could be on your way to this burnout. Number six is anxiety. Are you feeling an increase in your tension and your worry? Number eight is depression. Again, if you have clinical depression, that's going to be different. I'm talking about a change in your attitude that all of a sudden you're just so depressed about your work, and perhaps you used to love your job before. Number eight, irritability. Do you just feel more frustrated and the fact that maybe minor issues are really getting under your skin? Number nine, detachment. Are you feeling disconnected from your work or your colleagues? And in fact, this can even show up in your personal life. Number 10, a lack of motivation. Unless you're somebody who's not really motivated often, if there's a change in this, again, this is probably because you're burning out or close to it. Number 11, decreased job performance. If that's happening again, you need to watch that. Last but not least, number 12, withdrawal. In other words, are you isolating yourself from your peers, your family, or your friends? Now, this may not seem like such a big deal yet, but let me share some statistics with you, and I think you'll understand why this can be such a serious problem. According to a Harvard Business Review, workplace stress, including burnout, can cost U.S. employers about $190 billion. That's with a B, each and every year in healthcare costs. Did you also know that burnout contributes to a 50% increase in turnover and is the leading cause of absenteeism? In fact, the American Psychological Association reports that burnout can reduce productivity and that employees who are reporting feeling burnt out are 63% more likely to take a sick day. In fact, guys, this problem has become so chronic that the World Health Organization has classified burnout as a disease because it definitely impacts our health. So that's that first secret. The first secret is really identifying burnout and trying to figure out, are you on your way to experiencing this? Because if you are, now you see what a serious problem this can be, and you need to definitely take a look at ways to tackle this. All right, secret number 2. Let's talk about the art, because it really can be an art form of prioritization. So we know that prioritization means that you are delegating tasks as more important than other tasks. Usually we make that determination, right, ladies, based on whether it's time sensitive. Is it something that needs to get done right away? Is it urgent? Because sometimes it can be situational. But the reason, all in all, that prioritization is so important in terms of preventing burnout is because of all the benefits you get from doing just that. For example, let me go over just a couple of the benefits. Time management. If you prioritize your tasks, quite frankly, you're going to get more done in your day with less stress and at the same time be more productive. Reducing stress. Think about it. By addressing the most important tasks first, you're going to just feel that weight come off your shoulders, won't you? Because those important tasks are already done and it's just kind of feels like there's smooth sailing ahead. Enhanced productivity is number 3 because you're going to, quite frankly, end up spending more energy on the tasks that are the most important. Number 4, guess what? It's going to improve your decision making. That's right. Because when your tasks are prioritized, you're going to actually make better decisions about how to invest your time. Not how to spend your time, how to invest your time. Remember, ladies, time is such a precious commodity. We can never buy it, we never get it back. So really think about, how are you currently investing your time? Because that's going to make a big difference. Number 5, it's going to prevent overcommitment. If you take on your tasks and everyone else's, you're going to definitely spread yourself way too thin, which again is going to lead to that stress and burnout. Part of the problem is you probably have not learned the art of saying no. We'll get into more details about that later. Number 6, work-life balance. Another reason why saying no is important, because to be able to maintain some semblance of work-life balance, you've got to be able to prioritize those tasks. Now, does that mean that each slice of that metaphoric pie has to be perfectly balanced? Absolutely not. It's okay if you spend a couple more hours at work because there's a looming deadline. It's an important project. Just so long as you're not doing it all the time. Then again, you need to go back to our previous secrets about time management and really take a look at that. All right, secret number 3. What are the practical strategies of how we can actually prioritize effectively? Well, here are some of my favorite tips. Time blocking. In other words, make sure you're batching similar tasks. Get all that done at the same time. It really is effective because your brain is not having to kind of switch on and off from different tasks. So, for example, batch all your phone calls or all your emails. If you do that at certain times of the day that you've designated, now, of course, it's okay if you get an incoming phone call, an email that needs to be addressed right away, but just let that be the exception and not the rule. And speaking of rules, here's another tip, something I call the 2-minute rule. In other words, if you know you've got a task that's only going to take a max of 2 minutes, go ahead and knock that off your to-do list. Now, how do you know it's 2 minutes? Well, if you've taken my time management class, or if you've watched my time management secret videos on YouTube, I recommend that you time yourself. In other words, not every single task in your whole life, but the tasks that you're doing all the time, you really need to know how long it takes. Many times people just underestimate how long something actually takes, especially if it involves any kind of creativity. Give yourself time, pun intended there, sorry, had to do it, but give yourself time to really account for everything. For example, when I come up with different ideas for the podcast, I've got to really think about how long does it take for me to research something? And, I want to enjoy the process. So maybe I'm going to fix myself an extra cup of coffee. Then I want to print off my show notes and I kind of want to read over them and highlight a couple of things. Well, so when I think about how long does it take for me to record a podcast episode, I can't just add up the minutes it takes to do this right here. I have to actually also add the amount of time it takes me to research, to put it together, to set up the filming, if I want to upload it to YouTube, all those things. How long does it take me to create the show notes so that people have that? So you need to do the same. Really think about how long your tasks take and then take it from there. Here's another couple of tips. Delegation. If you're in a position to be able to delegate a couple of tasks in your work life and your personal life, make sure you're doing that. In your personal life, for example, it could be children that could help you with laundry or loading the dishwasher. In your professional life, it could be staff or colleagues that you are asking to help. Because what happens is if you're the go to person, sometimes you end up taking on their tasks as well. I'm all about being a team player, but make sure you're not doing someone else's work for them all the time. It's okay to help them if they're new and maybe new to that particular job responsibility, but you don't need to do your work and everyone else's. And if you don't set those healthy boundaries, I'll definitely put videos here for healthy boundary secrets. We've got a whole playlist for that. Then again, you need to learn my next tip, the art of saying no. It's okay to say no. Say it with kindness, say it with respect, but women especially, oh my gosh, there's so much research as to why we do this, but we got to do it to ourselves. So, ladies, understand you have to say no more often. When you say no to one thing, you're really saying yes to something else. And oftentimes, what you're saying yes to is your work life balance. Remember, self care is not selfish. It's going to help you be a better employee, a better mom, a better daughter, a better wife, a better girlfriend, all those things. So take care of yourself, ladies. Don't put that on a back burner because putting it on that back burner, you guessed it, it's going to lead to that burnout. Secret number 4. I kind of hinted at this just a second ago, self care and mindfulness. So, in other words, in addition to taking care of yourself and setting those healthy boundaries, I want you to practice some mindfulness during the workday. For example, if you do a lot of computer work, then get away from the computer, stretch, go for a quick walk, get a bottle of water, extra cup of coffee, something along those lines. If you're doing a lot of mental work, you need a physical break. Now, if the opposite is true and your profession requires you being on your feet all the time, or interacting with people a lot and you don't ever get any downtime, then you need to do the opposite. You don't need to take a walk. You probably already have more than 10,000 steps. You, on the other hand, need a mental break. And that's where you need to go into the break room, chill, relax, maybe get in your car and go for a quick 2 or 3 minute drive. Those kinds of things to give you that mental break and get you off your feet. We need that balance throughout the workday. In fact, there are apps where it will time you for just 2 minutes of mindfulness. And that way, again, guess what? You're going to be less likely to burn out because you're going to enhance your own energy levels and cycles, and you're going to be able to come back to that task with renewed energy and renewed focus. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to put out a call to action. In other words, I want to encourage you to let me know what strategies you put into place. And if you have not made this promise to yourself, I want you to put at least 2 to 3 strategies that you learned about today in place right now. That's how come I release these episodes on Monday so that you can be thinking about this for the week ahead. Also, go back and look at those warning signs. Make sure if you think that is happening to you right now, you need to take immediate action. Go back to those secrets, go back to the strategies, and again, make sure you're putting at least a couple of those in place this week, and then comment below, reach out to us, let us know what worked for you, and also if you've got other ideas for other episodes. Be sure to follow us on social media at Dr. Dawn Shop Talk. We've got tons of other free resources for you. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Would love to connect with you. And don't forget, we offer workshops, seminars, and one-on-one coaching. So if you think we can help in any way, let's talk. All right, you guys, if you've been listening for a while, you know I'm going to wrap up with the motto we say here at Shop Talk all the time to remind you of how much control you really do have in your day. Is there a lot we can't control? Of course, ladies, we know that's true. But we have more that's in our control than we might think. So, as the saying goes here at Shop Talk, here's our motto. If you're not having a fantastic day, don't forget you've got the power to make it one. I know our episode is over, but this is just the beginning. If you're ready to take action but don't know where to start, just head over to drdawnshoptalk.com for lots of free resources, ways to work together, and for even more. Subscribe to the Dr. Dawn Shop Talk YouTube channel. Remember, ladies, you don't have to take this journey alone. I've got you covered. Till next time.